Greetings and salutations, friend. I am Jeremy Tank, and welcome to the Manifest Design Experience, Week 3. Right on. How we doing so far? You excited? We are going to dig right in. We've got 5 exercises to go over today. These are the brand attributes, customers from afar, customer pains, wants, and needs, impact attributes, and culture attributes. This week, we really start digging into your brand, which is really, as Marty Neubauer says it in The Brand Gap and Zag, the brand is really the feeling that you are creating in your customer. So what we really need to think about is feelings. We need to brainstorm feelings. That's kind of a touchy thing. Like, how do we even think about that? And then we need to think about the customers and a lot of people talk about niching down, and the way we're going to think about this is a little bit different through our exercises this week. You will see when you experience it for yourself exactly what that's like and how that feels. I'm looking at about 55 minutes today to get through all these exercises because this is a lot to go over. And sit back and let's enjoy. First step, I am breaking out my brand book. This is the book that is the all of the exercises we are doing so far. I am just hole punching them and holding them in this binder. And this, as I've written on the first page, this is a record of how we make brand decisions. So super exciting. This is the place where we keep all of that kind of stuff that we just want to remember, look back and say, how did we get to that point, right? Super important. So the first exercise, we'll getting right to it, is brand attributes. And actually, when we're talking about the attributes exercises in general, customers, a lot of the exercises we're going to be doing this week and next week are really brainstorm exercises. And what I want you to do is set a timer for 5 minutes. I don't care if that's an egg timer or a timer on your microwave, but just something that helps you stay within a time limit, because that pushes your brain, that pushes how you actually connect ideas and what you write down. It challenges you in a way that time less thinking, time less brainstorming doesn't. It really pushes your neurons to connect and increases stress just to the right amount to get you to move forward. So, brand attributes. I went ahead and grab my my pens and everything here, and we go ahead and center this on up. I went ahead and did my 5 minutes of brainstorming on brand attributes. And just a reminder, the brand that you are working on is your personal brand, your company brand, maybe a product or service specifically. I am working on an idea brand. So it's an idea that I have for health retreat properties that people can go to. And the purpose of an idea brand is really to flesh out the ideas around it, to be able to show to other people, to be able to talk to investors and have a really solid idea of what that looks like. So that's what I'm building. You are working on your individual brand, whether it's a personal brand if you're a coach consultant, or your company brand if you are expanding so that you have employees. So looking at this, so my 5 minute brainstorm, what I got out of that was my attributes, which are magical. That's kind of how I want to describe my whole property idea. Home, just because home feels good, right? Warm, inspiring, energy. It feels like it's something around energy. Relaxing, definitely I want people to feel relaxed. Centering, healthy, escape, pamper, connect, sharing, together, old. I don't know, something about the feeling I'm going for. If you've watched last week and you're following along, I'm sort of thinking like a castle surrounded by these little like microstructures that people stay in. So I kind of want like an old school kind of Irish or Scottish kind of landscapey idea in my head. And actually I follow that up with castle, body focus. So health is body and mind. So I really want to do a body focus. I'm offering like massage and acupuncture, things that help the body feel better, Pilates, yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, that sort of thing. I could have put any of those on here as brand attributes. Looking back now, I could have. But you know what? When you're going through the process, the brain chooses certain words and prioritizes certain words. And I kind of feel like that's part of like the higher consciousness just going for it. So go with it. Whatever you get, go with it. You can always come back and add more. I absolutely could add those now. I'm not going to. Mind reset. So I see. I put body focus, mind reset as two different things. So like healing the body, listening to the body, helping it focus, but also helping the mind reset to not feel as stressful, anxious, bringing down the anxiety in the sympathetic nervous system. Support, grow, nurture, landscape, and heal. Landscape. Oh, right. I wanted these to be around like places that are beautiful, so you want to go and escape. You want to see the landscape, like mountains and trees and places where you take a breath and feel relieved just to be alive, right? So the last step in this process is to choose 5 that are most meaningful to you. And so I'm going to choose 5 that are most meaningful to me. And when I'm thinking about my brand, it's got to be magical. Really, escape is a good one. Escape, healthy, whatever that means. The castle thing is a big thing to me, so I'm going to go ahead and circle that. And centering. Something is drawing me to centering, so I'm going to go ahead and choose those 5 for this exercise. That's pretty good, right? That's magical, healthy escape, castle. A magical, healthy castle escape that is centering. I can almost put a sentence together like that, and you get an idea of a brand. You get an idea of a feeling that might evoke, a place that you might want to go, right? That's the point of this. When we start building these words, building this vocabulary, building... The mind responds to 2 things. The words that you tell it and the pictures that you show it. And those 2 things go into your brain, and your mind creates an image around it, positive or negative. So what we're doing is we're finding words that really help create a positive picture and help take it to the next level. That's why this is so fun. Okay, exercise 8, customers from afar. Now I got a couple of questions about this one. People going, what do I'm not exactly sure how to do this. I'm not exactly sure how to put together, because they were trying to niche down in this category a little too quickly, honestly. And this would be where you would think about niches. It would think about the customers you might want to serve, or the people who might need your services. So you can include the audiences within a certain niche. If you are an RTT therapist, this could be smokers. If you are, it could be people who need to feel better about themselves, feel more confident, feel more energetic, feel more alive again. If you are a real estate agent, you could be helping families or single people. I work with a real estate agent who serves veterans. So, I mean, those are the sorts of words that you want to put down and not really limit yourself, because it keeps expanding. That's the way that our mind works. We get an idea, and then that sort of brings in another idea, and that sort of brings in another idea, and it kind of pulls it all together. And that's what we want to do, is disassociate a little bit. Don't think too hard. Just write down the words that comes to you. And for example, the words that came to me in this exercise were... I love this. These were metaphysical. That's how I termed this group. That's how I term people that I really resonate with growing up, and in the communities that I grew up in, is they sort of had this metaphysical law of attraction energy sort of mindset. Vacationers. So yeah, people who want to escape. And let me see if I can make this a little bit better for you guys to read. There you go. Vacationers. So those are people who might use this property, people who want to get away to a property like this and have some space for themselves. Absolutely. Outdoor lovers, right? That makes sense. Experts. Here's where my brain flipped and like, okay, well, these are people that would be trying to get away, but people who might also be looking for a property like this, because part of what I want to do is bring people together, allow groups. And I even wrote on last week's exercises that I wanted to have a banquet hall, an auditorium. I'm looking down at the sheet right now. A library, sitting spaces, a neutrality bench. So I started thinking about that a little bit more as I brainstormed customers from afar. And I thought, okay, well, experts, absolutely. So they could bring in, they could give lectures, they can teach. You know, imagine Joe Dispenza showing up and giving a lecture, or Bruce Lipton showing up and giving a lecture, Simon Sinek, Tony Robbins, right? That's the sort of experts I'm talking about, which led me to teachers, because experts to me feels a little separated. Teachers are people who are there to really be closer and guide you on a path, which led me to gurus, healers. Healers led me to couples, just thinking, couples who want to escape, go on vacation, honeymoon, anything like that. Which led me to the idea of singles, so just single people who want to get away. And that led me to searchers, kind of internal searching, people looking for happiness in their lives. I started thinking about, where can Stella get her groove back? And that I kind of think of those people as searchers. And then I got to intuitives for that. So people who feel drawn, compelled, moving forward automatically, who are within alignment in their life, and they just continue moving through that. So I really liked intuitives. Stress heads, that's my idea of people who really need to get away, who just really need to move away from their lives because they've become too entrenched in the stress of their lives, the systems of their lives, the processes that they go through on a daily basis. It just stresses them out. And when it's a habit thing. When we remove ourselves from our normal environment, it forces us to change our processes, to change the way that we see things, to change the way that we see the world and react with other people, and grow. The problem is that when we go back into society, we tend to slip right back into that process. So, I figure people who need to de-stress, stress heads, come on over. Investors, I wrote down, because an idea brand like I am thinking of, maybe this whole process I'm doing is to create a message, to create a brand that really appeals to the investors, so that I can get the money to start the thing, if that's who I'm trying to appeal to, right? Peace seekers. Peace seekers, I kind of view this as like the stress heads and peace seekers. There are those who are stressed and need to get away, and there are those who are stressed and choose to find a respite for themselves. And I call those peace seekers. And peace seekers actually got me to artists and writers, because these are people who to get into the flow state, to get into their head, to get into their expressive, intuitive, imaginative, creative selves, kind of need to step away, right? This is not Starbucks. It's quieter, it's more peaceful. They can start really soul searching for that story that they want to share with their lives, or that picture they want to paint. And so then I changed gears to business leaders. So people who might want to just take their team, take their group out and go through exercises, just have space. I don't exactly know what that looks like. Maybe that would be a Tim Robbins sort of thing, or the guy who owns Virgin that just went into space. Maybe he takes his executive team and they go to talk about inspiring things in nature. And that led me to spiritual leaders. I started thinking about a guy I follow on YouTube, a Sadhguru. He has lots of people who want to come to a nice open space and a very spiritual, mystical kind of space, and just keep teaching and sharing things. And so both of those kind of led me to the idea of conferencers, or people who want to have a space for conference of some kind, because that's just typical business kind of stuff, right? And then after that, lecturers, okay, basic. Teams. That's the thing. As we go through this process, what we find is some ideas are the ideas we've been thinking about for a long time. The next set of ideas are a little further out. It takes longer for our brains to find them. And then we start stretching to things that seem a little bit absurd. And that's right down here for me. Things that seem a little absurd, because the brain is stretching. It's going to its furthest stretches of the neural network and saying, okay, well, what else aligns with this? What else connects with this concept? And then past that is sort of like general things, like I can't think of anything else, and so an idea comes in. Always put those down. Sometimes they sound absurd, sometimes they sound crazy. I think I wanted to put zebras on this list, and I just resisted because it came after groups and my timer ran out. But if you get an absurd idea, write it down. It doesn't mean you have to pay attention to it, but releasing it from your mind frees you to come up with other concepts. And that's really lecturers, teams, and groups were my mind stretching and saying, just write this down because I can't have it vibrating around in my mind anymore. But I liked groups. I liked the idea of groups. And I started going through this exercise, I said, what can I combine? Because when you're niching down, there's lots of different niches, but the more specific you can get about something online specifically, the more that you can find things that that group specifically needs, and you can serve them easier. And so I put a little asterisk by things that I said, I think that there's some relationship here that maybe this brand, as I start to build the idea, as I start to um, talk about the message and the problems it solves and the things that I do, I think that there's a connection here that might be valuable to me for this brand. And that's teachers. I really like the idea of teachers in the auditorium or the lecture hall, the library, being a boon to this idea. And peace seekers, so people who choose to come away from everything else. Intuitives, I really believe that intuitives understand the need for peace, understand the need for community, the right kind of community, understand the need to find nature and resonate with it, and groups. So those are the four that I'm like, I wonder if there's something there. I wonder what that might look like. And that's how I ask this, is I ask it to my brain, literally out loud sometimes. I wonder, what would that look like? What would that person look like? So when we go to exercise 9, I might just get through all these exercises really quickly today. I seem to be speaking very quick. Exercise 9 is customer pains, wants, and needs. And I am putting this right here so that I can read it to you. Imagine that you are the customer described in exercise 8. So what I'm asking myself to do and what I'm asking you to do, if you've combined any of those customers from afar, I'm looking at intuitive, peace-seeking teachers and groups. So people who want to come and get away and share space with each other and share learning with each other. That's sort of the idea, creating a magical space for them. So what I didn't put on here, but I want you to ask yourself, because it will help you answer these 4 questions on exercise 9, is when you put yourself in those shoes. If I put myself in that teacher's shoes, I'm an intuitive teacher, I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm a law of attraction teacher, I'm a mind-body teacher, and I've got this group, and they're following me, and they all kind of want to get away. They don't want to, maybe I've run a couple of classes in town, but we all are looking for a bigger getaway, something that really is worthwhile, right? So the first question you have to ask is, what is my problem? From the customer perspective, what are you actually challenged with? What is the problem? And the problem I identified is, I want a place for a retreat, for a group of people that is beautiful, unique, accommodating, and magical. If I'm that teacher, I want to find that place and go there and bring these people there, because I know that will accelerate their own personal transformation. It will expound everything that they are doing. Expand. Pardon me. So once I kind of identify a problem, then I can say, the first question, what's happening in your life that makes you want to pay someone to help fix your problem? So I'm asking myself, okay, as a teacher, I want to pay for a place, find a place that can support everything that I am teaching, that can support the energy, that can support the work, that can support my thoughts and my process. And what's happening in my life is I'm using local places, maybe some hotels, maybe some conference rooms, and they just don't fulfill the magical experience. I'm the teacher, I'm the intuitive, I'm with my group, I'm trying to share this with them. Maybe I'm an RTT therapist, and I'm trying to find really calm, centered places to lead group workshops, right? And I want to inspire people, I want to bring people together. So I want to find something. And there is a contrast between what's in my head, what I want to create the experience for people, and what I'm finding out in the world. So that's what's happening in my life as that teacher when I'm using my imagination. The next question, how bad is the problem? Well, I know from a teacher's perspective, from a leader's perspective, that I have to make a profit. This is a business venture. I am a teacher. I am leading these people, but this is also my business, right? So I want to make a profit. I want to raise my package prices. I want to get more people to hire me for coaching or for one-on-one work, right? So I need to find an acceptable location that creates such a magical experience that I can make a package and justify the cost and walk away feeling comfortable that I put enough money in my pocket to support myself and my family and my needs, as well as I created a valuable experience for others that they absolutely feel is worth the investment for themselves for how much they've grown. So I'm really putting myself in the perspective of that intuitive teacher, that guide, that healer, and saying, I recognize that I deserve to make money. I am sharing my expertise. I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm helping everybody take these next steps in their lives. I want to make money, so I need to make sure that the place I go is sufficiently awesome, right? It has to be to keep people going. Uh, So the next question, what obstacles stand in your way? Well, for me, if I'm the only person running my business and if I don't have assistants and we're not doing anything like that, search time certainly stands in my way, because if I'm trying to manage and balance everything else, search time is going to weigh heavily into that. Certainly budget, setup, technology on site. I want to make sure it can facilitate. If I want to give a PowerPoint presentation or it's myself and two or three other people, I want to make sure that there's a stage and that technology can handle all of the shifts between visuals or audio or any exercises that are in the group. The space is certainly a concern. Mind body amenities, that's what I wrote down. Mind body amenities. So when people are not in session, can they go somewhere for meditation? Can they go somewhere to have a massage or to do qigong or be led in tai chi? Can they go somewhere to support, additionally on site as part of regular amenities, more than even I'm offering, because that really adds to the package. And also food and food prep. If I'm the teacher and I'm going into a space, I don't want to bring food. I don't really want to even consider catering. And part of the services that I as the brand owner think is that this place, when I imagine it, has a restaurant on site. It has all this food prepared and ready to go. So as the guide, as the teacher who is coming in and looking for that as a solution, that's built in. So that is certainly, an obstacle that disappears immediately. And the last question, what do you need to feel successful? So imagining myself in the spot of that intuitive teacher, that guide, that guru, that person bringing this group of together who's so excited to listen. Um, I I need to work with a property, a location, and people within that property so that I feel heard, right? If I'm asking for video support or a couple of people to move tables around for group exercises, I need to feel heard. I need to feel supported. I need to feel, honestly, a little bit pampered so that I can focus on giving my love, my attention, my dedication to my group, right? I need to make sure that all of these stresses of putting on the event are shifted to the property so that I can do what it is I am genius at, right? Step into your zone of genius, and just do it. So a little bit, I need to feel taken care of. I need to know if the microphone goes bad, I can just like call somebody and get a new microphone and continue my lecture, and it's just that quick. And really what that comes down to is I need to feel released from some responsibility. I need to feel like there is somebody there who is able to respond. That's responsibility, right? Able to respond, and takes it off of my shoulders so that I can focus on creating the magical event, with my group that I want to create. So those sort of how this works is it really an imaginative process where you put yourself into your, the imaginary client that I'm making up for this exercise. Now, this is the space where if you are already positive about your niche, or you are experimenting with a niche, or thinking about your niche, this is where you get to play with that. This is where you can say, instead of horse breeders on one hand, or horse riders, horse breeders, horse show people, versus farmers, right? They have different needs, although it sounds like there might be some overlapping need. They would have different needs depending on what you are offering. And it's really this whole process. Exercise 8 is about you exploring different types of customers that you can interact with. And it doesn't mean you have to interact with them, but when you name them in exercise 8 and play with that a little bit, and then move on to exercise 9 and put yourself into their mindset, using your imagination and your power of creativity, you step into their shoes so you can see the world through their eyes and start to imagine what they need and how, their pains, what pains them, what makes them feel like they need things and want things. It's super powerful, because the next part of the exercise this is the next part of the exercise, and you have a worksheet. This is the second part of exercise 9 that is this worksheet, where we actually start filling in some of this stuff. So the first thing I want you to do is, in the center circle, go back to your archetypes exercise, and I asked you to circle one archetype that was you primarily, and one archetype that was your customer. And we're going to go ahead and pull that and put it right here in the center at the top. So my archetype was visionary, and I was, for my customers, and it was visionary. And I'm so super glad that I chose that, because it really does seem to fit with what I'm sharing with you guys right now, and it seems to fit with the things I'm talking about and thinking about. Because, and again, pulling from exercise 8, the visionary is the intuitive teacher with groups of peace seekers. The intuitive teacher with groups of peace seekers. So this is the person who would want to hold the groups, to pull people together, to create these escapes, these retreats. That's the word for it, retreats. So the key about this part of the exercise, and actually the whole part of 9, is, I had to write a note for myself here, they are not using you yet. This is not what they're thinking, seeing, feeling, and doing when they use your brand, your services, your products, your company. This is before any of that. This is what draws them and opens them up to the possibility of coming right to you. This is what pulls them to you. So in this case, the intuitive teacher with groups of peace seekers, what they might be saying out loud to their groups, their teams, anybody that their work is, the right place will reveal itself. Maybe this is something you've said to yourself from time to time. You know that it will work out, and you just continue on. Have trust in the universe. Let me know if you have suggestions, right? When you open yourself up to suggestions from others, advice from others, it expands the capabilities of the universe, right? Because suddenly it's not just your energy, it's somebody else centering on the same sort of solutions energy. I love that kind of creative thinking, sharing group community stuff. 4, we are planning something extraordinary. That's certainly something, even if they don't know what it is yet, they are planning something extraordinary, because when you're an intuitive teacher with groups of peace seekers, you just know it's going to be extraordinary. It's just what you do on a regular basis. I'm always trying to figure out how to hold this thing. I'm going to get an easel shortly. I know. And the last thing I think that this person might say is, look, this is going to be great. This will be great. This is going to be amazing, right? They're always going to talk it up. They're going to say it out loud. They're telling themselves and the group, right? They know that things are going to work out. They're just going to keep putting in the positivity and knowing that it will happen. And what they might be thinking is the right place will reveal itself, right? Extra positive on the will, because they're telling themselves, trust in the universe. At the same time, maybe underneath that, there's I hope I can pull this off. Right? There's just a little bit of doubt if they haven't found the right thing yet, and that's okay. Third thought to themselves, I need to make money on this. right? And I know that we all kind of feel that when we put things together, when we step forward in our business and our brand, there's always that thought of, well, I need to make money on this. I want to offer something, and it's got to equal money in the outcome because I deserve that, right? My time, my energy, my efforts. Um, 4, I hope enough people are interested. That kind of goes back to the money thing. Like there is certainly a trend here of thinking of, look, it's going to be great. I'm sure it'll be great. But the more you think about that, it sort of downward spirals. That's what thinking does. And so the last one I feel like this person would think is stay grounded, right? An instruction to themselves. Don't be drawn into a negative cycle. Go right back to this place will reveal itself. And I know plenty of people who are the therapists who are teachers and gurus and sages at this point, and they admit, look, this is the way the brain works. It challenges itself and it tries to push harder and further, and the last step is usually, look, stay grounded, you're good, believe. How might they act? Well, they would be making tons of Google searches, I think, just looking online all over the place, looking for anything that might go. They might look at some other groups, something like Tony Robbins' Mastermind, or Simon Sinek or Seth Godin. Like, if they're holding groups, where are they holding them? What do those retreats look like? They might be comparing resort prices, so looking around them at common resorts that wouldn't be too far of a venture out of their way, that might, facilitate what they're doing. Just trying to look at the prices, because if they're acting and they're at this stage, then they're actually that's number 4. They're actually budgeting the cost versus the price. So they're trying to figure out how can they offer a good package outwards to their group and pay something that is reasonable. That's all we want, reasonable. And last, they're probably calling their friends for recommendations. And that kind of goes back to, like, they're saying out loud, let me know if you have suggestions. Call friends for recommendations. The more people that you can put on the same thought wavelength, the same energy, the more that you have sort of resonating towards this solution. That's creative structure, creative framework. You are creating a spot and energy for a solution and building essentially a team around that frequency, moving towards it. That's why I love teams. What might they be feeling? See, that's the tricky one. That's the one that gets you, because you can be saying everything really positive and acting, moving forward. You can even be thinking, okay, holding yourself up and buoying yourself, and yet feeling maybe a little impatient, right? I mean, that's just natural. That's human, feeling a little impatient because it's not moving fast enough. They might be stressed. They might not even realize the amount of stress that they are pumping into their system because they're trying to stay positive, and there is a contrast, a dichotomy in they haven't got a solution yet, but they're trying to build something, which leads to belief and trust. They feel, look, I don't need to be stressed. I can just believe in the universe. I can trust in the universe. It will provide. I'm doing all of the steps. I'm taking action, so something will reveal itself. But again, our brain responds 5 times more to negative thoughts than to positive thoughts. We are wired for negativity because it's a fight or flight survival response. It is caveman Neanderthal response. So all of this belief trust is so contradictory within ourselves. We don't have a single path, a single belief, that of course it builds some anxiety, which could be also excitement, right? Things are good, things are anxious, it's coming, I know it. It could be both at the same time, because it's just that feeling, the butterflies in the stomach, the sort of nervousness. I know it's going to be good, which also leads to number 5. The way that I imagine it is love of the process, because all of this is part of the process. It's part of the joy of being human. It's part of exploring and working with a group and creating a retreat and creating an idea that brings people together, that helps them feel good. You have to actually appreciate that there is some love, some joy in how it's manifesting and how it's coming about, because that's how the universe works. And if you stress about it too much, it actually distances itself. And if you just kind of come back to the balance, the joy, the stability, and say, look, I can just love this process. It is a little stressful of a process. I can continue forward. Then that's a strong feeling right there. Just being able to say, okay, I love the process, and we're just gonna take the next step. Maybe more research, maybe talking to more people, or seeing what other groups there are. Right. So that's my process working through this. Really, in exercise 8, identifying a bunch of different types of individual audiences, customers. Maybe you can consider that a niche. I really think about it less in niche terms and more in just like, this is the one type of person that I want to talk to work with, to really share. Because when we choose one person, just one person, like this in exercise 8 and 9, then we can get into their head. We're not trying to solve the world's problems. We're not even trying to solve a group's problems or a niche's problems. We are solving one person's problems. And if we can solve that one person's problems, there are more people who think the same, feel the same, and act the same, say the same things. And when we get inside their heads more, we can more easily move into solving their needs, wants, and if they don't get in my case, if this person doesn't find a good location, that's going to be very painful to them, for their business, for the group that they're building. So that's a big pain point right there. All right, how'd that go? Did you feel good about that? Does that help solve some niche problems for you? Does it open doors? What kind of insights? I would love if you guys wrote in the group someplace, when you're done with these set of exercises, what kind of insights did you gain? Did it change how you look at your niche, or change how you look at how you offer things, what you offer in any kind of way? So let's jump on into more brainstorming with impact attributes. If you I hope you guys read the descriptions that I put within, or with each exercise within the guide, because they're really giving a foundation of really either expert sort of direction from books and lecturers and gurus amongst themselves, or an idea of the neuroscience, quantum science, mind-body connection that really leads to why these exercises are important. And impact in general has a lot to do with the value you provide. Because we as customers, we don't make decisions with our logic. We make decisions through feeling, and then we justify it through logic. Decisions are made in the limbic brain, back here, down low, in deep. It's really center. It's the reptile brain that's part of guiding our emotional responses in fight or flight, reproduction, hunger, right? It's survival driven. So we make decisions based on sort of emotional gut, influential feelings that come from both the conscious and the subconscious mind. Really, this is both of them working together to create this feeling, and then it comes into our conscious mind to create reasons why we made that choice. And a lot of these reasons come down to what we value. Do people provide you good service? Do they value quality and high service, or is it just service? Are they all about personalizing something for you, or is everything just a group solution? And when we look at that value that's provided, that's creating an impact for the customer. If you value speed, then the impact for the customers, they spend less time with whatever it is you're doing, and they get back on their lives. So when they're trying to solve a problem, speed to them could be very, very efficient. It could be fantastic and exactly what they're looking for. If you get your product, your brand, in and through them in 3 hours, and the competition does it in 8 hours, speed absolutely becomes an impact that you can sell, that you can discuss, that you can talk about. So the next exercise is impact attributes. And the impact attributes that I am sharing with my idea brand of these health resort properties that are all about magical experiences and groups and intuitive people coming to escape, and retreat. Impact. So I definitely wanted, so I put modern first, and then I put technology. And I'm thinking that both of those together actually make a lot more sense, because I really want people to come and experience uh, not out of date technology. I want them to be able to come and lecture and share and teach and do all the things that they want to do, need to do. So I'm actually just gonna kind of modern technology is a huge impact, especially for the people I'm talking about. I think having access to that technology is a great idea. Ooh, I like that. Here we go. Um, Ancient. I don't know what impact that would have, what value that would have to people. Old, not really. Magical, I like that one. Transformative, okay. Escape, catered. And catered to my mind means that like everything's taken care of. You show up and then just you do your thing and everything is taken care of. I really like that one. Space is in like there's open space. It's not crowded. It's not within the city. You're not trying to like cram everybody together. Peace, quiet. I like quiet. Affordable, for some that would be a really good value. Healing, okay, I like that. Value, um, cost versus price sort of idea there. That's the word value came out of my mind. I had to write it down. Unique, portal, like it's a when you step into this place, it's like a portal to another world. It kind of draws you in, and that kind of goes to the whole like magical kind of thing. Shift, because I think that people who would come here would experience a shift, and if I'm the teacher, I'm trying to shift things for my group, and if I'm the property, then I'm really trying to help people shift something inside of themselves, body, mind, to feel better about themselves and the world. Caring, um, I guess there's just not a lot of other places I consider caring, so it would be nice if for some reason the impact of this place was just leaving me feel warm and fuzzy, right? I should probably write down warm and fuzzy now. In fact, warm, fuzzy, warm. My handwriting sucks at this angle. Uh, Personal. I really like the idea of having the personal space, personal catering, really somebody taking care of you. Gem. I don't know. It had to be written down. Secret. My idea was, what if this is the secret that nobody else knows about, and that when you find it, you keep it to yourself, and you don't share it because you don't want it to get overwhelmed with other people, right? Packages. Um, it, it might be of huge impact to somebody if there were packages that were simple and easy to look at. So that's an interesting one. Energetic. There's a lot about that, right? If I'm talking to intuitives, if I'm talking to people who are mind body people, if I'm talking to people who want to feel recentered and escape and have all these treats of acupuncture, massage, qigong, all these other things done to them, we're fixing like some of the energetic flow of all the junk. We're shaking it away from the outside world, right? We're recentering, and of course warm and fuzzy. So the idea here again, we're going to choose 5. And I am going with modern technology as one of them. And I would say healing, absolutely another one. Magical, I'm going to keep reinforcing magical wherever I can, because that's how my mind works. And if that's an impact I think would connect with people, I'm going to go with that. Catered, I like that idea because there's so many hotels and resorts where you have to pay for all the extras, where you have to find different hotels or find places around. I really want a place where you go into it and it was much more of the resort sort of idea. It's not a resort, but it is a resort where people come in and they can just stay on the property and their food is on property and everything is handled there for them. So I'm going to go with that. And then I think peace is going to be the most important one. Looking at these, like if I'm that teacher, then I'm got a magical experience. I've got my technology. This is healing for all of the people, so that's great. It's catered, so I am able to loose some of my responsibility on the staff. And there's peace, so there's peace for myself. There's peace for my guests. There's peace for all the groups. So I think that would be the biggest impacts to everything going on there. So whenever you get these, absolutely, I ask a couple questions. I really want you guys to share the answers that you are getting like your top 5. I would love if you shared them in the group, just in a brand new post or in guides, wherever you feel comfortable putting it out there, because showing others what you're thinking, showing others your thinking process and the sort of attributes that you are gearing towards is really good, because it helps others expand their thought process. And that's really what this group is about, and the support that we're providing in our community is expanding thought process to help you build the best, biggest, strongest, most in alignment brand with you and everything you're building possible. So the last exercise is the culture attributes. And the thing about culture is that we tend to think about culture as, if you're the CEO or the president of a large company, then you are helping direct the culture of the company. I think of Facebook, right? They certainly have an internal culture. Google certainly has an internal culture. As the owner of a business, what you value in terms of behavior, in terms of choices that people make for you, for your business, build the culture. When you tell people what is good for them to do, they will do those things in order to help the company help themselves and help themselves. When they help themselves, they help the company. When those things are in alignment through culture, it's so much easier. As a solopreneur, as a coach, a consultant, your culture is what you are building with your community, with your students, with your groups, with your teams. So you want to share things with them that, again, it's sort of like being in the business, that you value, things that you guys can share in terms of values to bring you together, to really unite you as a community. And a community is a group of people, according to Simon Sinek, who think and believe the same things. And community supports each other because they think and believe the same things. And in our brains, that is super powerful, because the limbic brain really reacts with mirror neurons, which the mirror neurons look at others, and I gotta put this sheet down. Mirror neurons look at others and start to replicate their behavior. So your community, when you start building it, creates a culture of the things that you value. And that might be like honesty, tell the truth, take responsibility for your actions, plan your time. These are different things that bring together a culture with a community. And then as your community grows, you get more followers, you get more people signing up for your services. Having this explicitly out there helps them understand that if this is something that they believe in, that they can trust you to believe in the same thing. And this is where mirror neurons really create trust, because when you can show through behavior and through words that this is what you believe and this is how you act, then it draws people right in as part of your community. So for me, for this idea of these retreats, what I wrote down was caring. I want a caring community. Intuitive, absolutely. People who listen to their guts, or are learning how to listen to their guts, learning how to listen to their heart and tune into that, inner energy. Available, meaning they don't have a ton of other things, right? They have prioritized life so that they know what they need to do and where they need to do it and what's good for them. Helpful, supportive, guides. I love the idea of guides. Like, if this is my customers, then this might be the teacher. He's a guide for others. If this is my employees, then they are guides for the guests. They help them solve their problem, move on to the next step, and just enjoying the journey. A guide shows people where to go and allows them to take that journey. Family, because I'd really love if the people who stayed at this place felt like everybody there was family, including the employees. They felt, that sort of feeling when you're at a B&B and you just love that B&B and they make you food and it just feels like you're part of the family. I love that idea. Community, it seems a little, I put it down, but it feels less than family. It feels less than. So I'm going to move on. Cheerful. Sure, right? If we can find the joy in every moment, find the happiness within ourselves, doesn't mean there's not sometimes sadness, but if that's something we value highly, then cheerful would create an impact in our culture. Clean. Yeah. Reverent. Oh, see, here's the point. If you have ever known someone who's a Boy Scout, or if you've been a Boy Scout yourself, I don't know if the Girl Scouts or Brownies had similar things. I started actually thinking about the 12 attributes of a Boy Scout, and that's where this list started coming out. And I was a Boy Scout for several years. I made it to not quite to Eagle Scout, but made it pretty high. So reverent, of nature, of the community, is just respectful of everything. I should write down respectful. Trustworthy, like giving enough space, giving enough energy, giving enough time to things. You can trust that it gets done. Friendly, yeah, absolutely. Courteous, kind, and focused. Focused meaning, again, when you know something needs to get done, you get down, you focus on it, you take the time for it, you build the time for it, you create the time for it because you know that it's important. So again, I'm going to go ahead and choose 5 here that I feel, from my perspective, are the most important from my business brand perspective to that intuitive teacher, that intuitive guru who will be leading groups, because that's who I'm focusing on at this point. So I would say it doesn't matter if people are intuitive. If I'm looking outward at this stuff, I want to say supportive, sure. Guides, I just love guides. Family, if I'm creating a culture, right? This is the culture we're talking about. Supportive guides and family sounds great. Reverent. I think that there is something really important about recognizing the truth, the greatness in everyone and everything. And courteous. Courteous, I think, is super important when building culture. So if people are respectful, they're courteous, they're supportive, they're part of a family, they're reverent of nature and everything going on, I feel like that's super important to build the culture that I want to build. So that is this week's exercises. Next week, we're going to have 5 more exercises going up. And I will probably towards the end of next week put out a survey just to ask you, how is this process feeling? Is it moving too quickly for you? I'm really telling people, take your own time, step your way through this. I don't want to overwhelm you. This is literally 25 years worth of knowledge, just kind of putting it down and helping you take the next steps, whatever those might be, however you want to apply this process for your business, for your brand. And if we're going too slow for you, if you really want to jump in and do this with me one-on-one, we can usually get it done in either 2 4-hour sessions or 1 8-hour session. That's a really long day. It's very draining. It's like a marathon of brainstorming, and that really uses up a lot of calories with the brain firing and thinking through all these kind of brainstorm ideas. I am available to work through this manifest design process one-on-one. Just to give a little pitch, I hope you don't mind. You can find the application for that at thinktankcreative.net, thinktankcreative.net. And that is for you and I to go over this process just between us. And it's all of this and more, because when you do that one-on-one, the cost includes RTT hypnotherapy, so that we can take all of these answers, all of these solutions that we are building, creating, coming upon, revealing to us, really, and anchor them into the subconscious, so that 95% of our behavior is driven by the subconscious. So if we can take all of this and anchor it into the subconscious, then unconsciously you will automatically start to manifest all of this, building your business moving forward. That's why it's so awesome to have a plan and to get all of your consciousness aligned and moving forward with it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send me messages, write a post. Please share the exercises, answer questions. It's super important for you to do this because it activates neurons. It activates those neural networks and programs your brain for success. That is exactly what we are doing. All of these exercises are for your benefit, programming you to take these steps moving into your future. How great is that, right? It's awesome. So that's about time today. And I thank you so much for sticking with me. I love that you guys are posting exercises. I love that you are sharing the feedback. I love that you are supporting each other. That is just It warms my heart. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much. I love you. I wish you a fabulous time working on these exercises. I hope you have fun with it. Play, use your imagination, use your creativity. Those are powerful tools that are not given enough credit in the business world today. So thank you. Take care.